Stop stealing my assigned parking space. I work at a warehouse and we get assigned spots based on seniority. After 6 years, I earned spot 42 by the side entrance. It's 2 minutes closer than the front lot, which matters when it's freezing outside. New guy Dwight kept parking there because he didn't want to walk from his assigned spot near the back. 3 times a week, I'd show up at 6 a.m., and his Nissan was in my space. The overflow lot is gravel that turns to mud when it rains. I left 2 notes on his windshield. He threw them away. I told Janet, our supervisor, and she said she'd talk to him. She didn't because Dwight argues about everything, and Janet avoids conflict like it's contagious. Week 3, I stared at his car in my spot at 6 a.m., and something in me just broke. I clocked in, grabbed the smallest forklift, and moved his car to the back of the overflow lot near the broken fence. Parked mine in my actual spot. 2 hours later, Dwight was asking everyone who moved his car. I kept eating my burrito. Janet told him he probably forgot where he parked. Next Monday, his car was back in my spot. I moved it to the loading dock where the 8 a.m. delivery comes in. He had to scramble to move it before the truck arrived. He parked there Thursday and Friday. I put it behind the dumpsters Thursday. In the truck yard Friday. By Friday, he was in Janet's office pointing outside and talking loud. She came to me after and asked if I'd been moving cars. I said yes because he keeps taking my spot, and you didn't handle it like you said. She told me to stop and come to her first. I reminded her I already did that 3 weeks ago. Monday, a black Dodge Charger sat in my spot, not Dwight's car. I asked around and learned it belonged to Brandon, who started in management last week. He's the owner's nephew. Nobody wanted to tell him where he could or couldn't park because complaining about the owner's family is a good way to get fired. Janet definitely wasn't going to risk it. Our owner, Mr. Hewitt, runs 4 businesses and barely comes here. But that week we had a huge potential client touring the warehouse to see if they'd contract with us for distribution. Wednesday, the Charger was in my spot again. I saw Mr. Hewitt's Mercedes out front when I arrived, so I knew he was here for the client tour. I waited until 9 when tours usually start. Then I took the forklift and drove that Charger right through the loading bay into the warehouse. I stacked 2 pallets of inventory boxes tight on each side so the doors couldn't open. Boxed it in completely. Went back to shipping. 10:30. I heard Mr. Hewitt's voice bouncing off the warehouse walls. The tour group rounded the corner and froze. Mr. Hewitt, 3 people in suits, Janet and Brandon, all stared at the Charger trapped between pallets on our warehouse floor. One of the suits laughed and asked if this was standard procedure. Mr. Hewitt's face went red, asking whose car that was. Brandon admitted it was his. Mr. Hewitt asked how it got inside the building. Brandon stammered something about not knowing. Janet jumped in, saying someone's been moving cars around as some kind of prank. Mr. Hewitt asked who would do that and why. He told her to check the forklift logs. My name came up. Got called to the office. Mr. Hewitt asked me straight up why I drove a car into his warehouse. I told him everything. 6 years working here. Spot 42 is mine. Dwight parked there for weeks and Janet wouldn't do anything after I reported it. I started moving Dwight's car myself. Then Brandon started taking my spot. And this morning it was occupied again, right when important clients were touring. Mr. Hewitt stared at me without blinking for 30 seconds. Then he turned to Janet and asked why she never addressed my complaint. She said she meant to talk to Dwight, but hadn't found the right time. He asked Brandon why he parked in someone else's assigned spot. Brandon shrugged and said he didn't think it mattered. Mr. Hewitt stood up. He said assigned parking is based on seniority, and it exists, so employees with loyalty get small perks that matter. He told Brandon if he can't follow the same basic rules as everyone else, he has no business in management, and fired him right there. He told Janet she's getting written up for ignoring employee concerns. Then he looked at me and said, I'm getting written up too for moving vehicles without authorization, but if anyone parks in my spot again, there will be serious consequences for them. The clients apparently thought the whole mess was hilarious, and signed with us anyway. Brandon sat in the office for 3 hours waiting for a tow truck to move the pallets and get his car out. Dwight got moved to night shift where parking's not an issue.